What is up, you lovely little make some noise? Walt Disney World in Florida, Orlando has just announced that they are opening, and we could not be happier. Ladies and gents, make some noise because we are not alone this evening. That is for damn sure. An announcement like this, we need some of our friends to help us out. So starting from the very top of the screen, ladies and gents, put your hands together for Jamie.
Hi guys.
Such a cool guy, isn't he? And of course, he wouldn't. Lisa, everybody, from News from Lisa.
Hey, good evening.
Hey, and introduce him for the very first time on our channel, Lewis.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Hey. And the one, the only, Mr. Danny Paring.
Good evening, everyone.
Jen's waving back.
I'm waving like you can see me.
There are some huge, huge smiles on our faces, and that is because of the news today. So in case you don't already know, take a look at this there, ladies and gents, is the dates of what is happening. Now, I'm just going to read a very quick spiel and full credit to the Diz, in particular, Denny Sunderly. So, Jim McPhee, Senior Vice President of the Operations for Walt Disney World, formally presented Walt Disney World's reopening proposal during this morning's Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force. Wow, that's a tongue twister right there. But according to the proposal, Walt Disney World will begin a phased reopening for the parks beginning July 11th. Magic Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom, will open on July the 11th. Epcot and Hollywood Studios will open July 15th. And as detailed in today's reopening proposal, Walt Disney World will be implementing new safety and measures as the proposal together will now be required to wear face coverings, maintain social distancing throughout the parks, including in attraction queues, and will be temperature screened before entering the parks. Parks capacity will also be limited. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get us back into it. How you guys doing? You all right? Excited.
Yeah, all good.
Beautiful faces.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
So
The
the
big news there.
obviously Disney World reopens. How does everyone feel about this news today?
Meh.
Excited.
It's what?
Excited.
I'm very excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm buzzing for it.
I am.
I think, like, the thing is as well, I'll just steal the screen just for a moment. I think this news gives people some hope.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
It's been way too long since we've had, like, this positive news. We've been waiting for it. Whether you're going this year or next year or the year after.
It's a start. They have to start somewhere, and it is a start for positive things.
Go on, Big.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So zero pressure. But Danny, what do you truthfully make of this in more than one answer? One word even.
Well, I think we're now looking at the future of theme parks as a whole, aren't we? With all the social distancing and hand sanitizers, face masks, at least for the time it is until, well, not personally, I'm not trying to find a vaccine, but until somebody can find something to combat this the last few months.
Sounds like a Dalek.
I feel like we're losing him. Danny, I think your signal's going, bud. What's happening?
Oh,
he's frozen. Uh-oh.
Elsa's out.
Let it go. I think you're right, though, in terms of the hope, though. I think that it's this hope that we're all holding on to. And I think that's what we need to grab hold of is, okay, it might not be the ideal time to go. It might not be right for all of us to go. but it's a start, and it starts building up a better picture of where we can be. We've all lost, holidays, times that we want to be elsewhere, and this just gives us that positivity to say, yeah, okay, that hard work, that stuff we've been doing has led us to this situation. So I think it's great news for us at the end of the day to sort of start seeing just some positivity in amongst all of the negativity, the bad stuff. So I agree with you massively on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been long overdue, isn't it? How many months has Walt Disney World been closed?
I think everyone's been waiting for this day to find out what date. Like everyone's like, oh, it changes on the app for this date.
Yeah.
Well, we lost our Easter holidays, so you have the factory fortnight in Easter. So there's a lot of people that would lose that one. So you have to sort of start thinking to yourself, right, okay, when's next? Like we've got September, so yes. Hopefully things will line out over that time. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We run with it.
So we have a travel advisor here with us. So, ladies and gents, Lewis is bottom right of your screen. So if you have some travel related questions, please feel free to comment them now. And Lewis has kindly offered to come on and help us out with your travel questions. But a question that I want to ask everyone in the chat right now is: would you feel safe going to the Magic Kingdom on the 11th of July? So would you feel safe going back to the Magic if you could be there for the 11th of July? And so who wants to take that one first? Let me unmute Danny's mic. Hopefully he's back. There we go. You can hear you now, Danny.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So
yay.
Would you feel safe going back to the Magic Kingdom on the 11th of July?
I think for me,
most probably, yeah.
Hi.
Go on, sorry, Lewis. Go on.
That's right. I think for me, definitely. Disney, as we all know, they pride themselves in safety. I am a proper Disney geek, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, guys. And one of the things that I do is read a lot, and I've got a book called Be Our Guest. It's about the Disney Institute, and basically it talks about the 4 quality standards that they have when they're looking at their guest services. And the very top one is safety. And I think that Disney will make sure that when the park opens and the guests go, and particularly their cast members, they are really safe and well looked after. And I just think that they'll have it covered. And also the fact that they're leaving it that little bit longer to open up will give them that time to really put all their procedures in place and make it work seamlessly. So for me, I might be in the minority, but I would actually be quite comfortable going to Disney. I think they do a really good job of making sure everybody's safe and keeping everybody firmly aware of what the procedures are. And even though they may not be having the parades and the fireworks and stuff like that, I'd still go.
Yeah, that's a great
I think
answer.
everyone's self-aware now as well. Everyone's took it upon themselves to be self-aware. So I think people are gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot that is in place, and we're going to touch upon some of that in a moment. I can see a comment coming in from Gareth. What's up, dude? Gareth is saying it's a good start. Nice to see that they're giving themselves time to prepare and ensure everything is in place and not just rushing it. I mean, comparing to Universal Studios at the moment.
Next weekend.
Yeah. Do you think Disney are being overly precautious, or they're playing it safe because they want to see what's happening with Disney Springs and then go to the parks? Danny, I can see you shaking your head. Talk to me, dude. What's going on?
No, I think it's a completely different kettle of fish when you look at Walt Disney World as a whole reopening up in the phases that they are, and what Universal Orlando are. Let's not forget, Universal Orlando is the 2 parks, City Walk and the water park. And I forget how many hotels in total. But then you look at the size of Walt Disney World compared to Universal Orlando, and it's no surprise that Disney have decided to, play a longer game to reopen property. It wouldn't make any sense to try and rush this when you've got such a big a big area to try and reopen and put all these social distancing measures in.
Yeah, mate,
Yeah.
that's a very valid point. Timo Sullivan agreed with Jen. They have to start somewhere, and we have to be positive. Like, totally agree. And they're right. Obviously, the numbers are declining, which is great to see. But you know, the economy needs to bounce back. Eventually, the parks are going to open regardless. We know that SeaWorld is going to be opening on June the 11th. Thank you to Stephen Davis for mentioning that in the. That's really helped me actually into the comments. But for those that are thinking about traveling over to Florida, in fact, those in the chat, have you been affected by the dreaded COVID-19? And I will say this because we do obviously have Lewis here, who is our travel advisor, who can help us out on some of your questions. So the question obviously is, have you got a travel question regarding the current COVID situation? Our pal Lewis will be hopefully ready on hand to help us out with that. But let's get into while we wait for a couple of questions for Lewis, some of the mandatory stuff that's coming from Disney, such as social distancing, wash hands regularly, cast members will communicate the new protocols. I feel like that is all now ingrained in us.
It is definitely ingrained. I have stickers all over my work. Like there's stickers on the ground, there's stickers, there's tape, there's everything at my work. So
Yeah.
I think everyone knows.
I feel like
Everyone knows.
it has been so ingrained in us from shopping at, Tesco's, other places are available, that we're getting used to it now. You know, us Brits are used to queuing. So the idea of this social distance and the way that they're structuring it.
I'm not being funny, but some people are loving the isolation.
Are they?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know some people that are loving it. They're loving the fact that they don't even have to contact anyone.
I think some of the challenges we're going to have though is we're all wearing masks, we're all doing everything properly, we're washing our hands, but we've still got to get ourselves in that tin can that is an aeroplane to get from this side of the pond to the other side of the pond. And I think that's where the biggest concern is probably going to be more so. It's great the parks are opening, it's great that they're going to get things planned, but it's that little bit in the middle where that's where we can already see in a lot of the comments. And I think that's just where we're going to be sitting there saying, okay, so what's going to happen here? How's it going on? So it's an interesting one that we brought this one out the same day that this was already planned, but the same day we've had this announcement. So it's really weird. I agree with a lot of people on here that are saying that it's flying that's going to be the problem. At the moment, we can't even get into the States. So, we still got to be positive, but at the same time, so it's going to be a little bit interesting.
Realistic. So Lewis, my friend Ed, is saying, open. Terrorist. Look at him go, sorry. So Ed is saying if the parks are open, and that means holidays can go ahead, but Virgin Atlantic are still only offering indirect flights from Heathrow. Are you still within your rights to cancel? That's a great question from Ed. Lewis, are you up for taking that one?
Yeah, it is a good question. First of all, what I would say is that I don't think that Virgin will offer indirect flights from Heathrow. So if you've already got a booking from Gatwick, they will move it from Gatwick to Heathrow. That's the first thing that I would say right now. Whether you have the right to cancel, the point is if you've already got a booking, that will be moved. Okay, so that's the first and foremost. Would you be in the right to cancel if they offered you an indirect flight? Possibly not. It's something that I will find out for you to be absolutely sure. However, if we are allowed to travel and the holidays are our tour operator saying, "Yep, you can go," then Virgin or whoever you've booked with are doing everything they can to give you that opportunity to go, whether it be an indirect flight or a normal flight. So they're doing what they said that they would do. So what I would suggest is that you probably don't have the right to cancel, but always have a conversation with your tour operator or your travel agent and see whether you can work things out, because actually these guys are willing to help out their customers, because if they don't help them out, then they won't get them back in the future. So that's probably the best advice I can give you on that one. You probably won't have a right to cancel, but certainly have a conversation with them if travelling is going ahead at that point.
See, he's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Have one question. Sorry, it's
Oh
bugging
my
me.
God, Jen.
Does anyone kind of have a gist of when you think that we could be flying again? My question.
Ooh, yeah.
When?
Okay. So, sorry to. You see what Jen's drinking? She's just coming straight out of it. What was the question?
About traveling. Like, no one knows when we can travel again. International travel.
So over to the travel advisor. Sorry, Lewis.
That's fine.
When can we travel?
This is the number one question that I get asked every single day. When can we travel again? Will I be able to travel in September? Will I be able to travel in November? The honest answer, Jen, is we don't know. The problem is the Foreign Office have said that there's no, we can't, they'll say, the current advice is there is no non-essential travel to be had right now. The problem is that they've put this word indefinitely in, whereas a lot of other countries have said, we're going to ban travel until a certain point in time. The Foreign Office, the government are saying, we don't know when it's going to be, we can't really tell you. And it puts us as travel advisors in a really difficult position. So what I will say is that it is advice, but most airlines and tour operators will not travel while this is in, will not let you have your holidays while this is in place. But you can still travel. Somebody picked me up on this the other day. You can still travel. It's just advice. But please watch out for your travel insurance, because it will be null and void. Well, most likely to be null and void unless you have this most amazing bulletproof insurance policy. So please be careful.
Do you foresee that the 14-day quarantine, like how realistically is it going to affect us? Do you think that was going to be lifted anytime?
I think it'll be lifted. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in place for, I would say, don't take me, I would say to a month to 2 months. Boris is saying normal life by the end of July. Sorry, not January, July.
July. Wow.
So
okay.
by maybe August.
Fingers crossed. There are so many people here in the chat right now that I can see going whether August or September. In fact, Jamie and Lisa are going in September. So with the news announced today that Disney are opening from basically July, like how has that changed your mood and feelings towards going in September? Over to Jamie or Lisa, whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I'm quite excited. To me, it's just like a positive move forward. And Jamie kind of mentioned we already had one holiday cancelled already this year. So for me, it's about getting there safely. And, I don't think Disney would do anything to put anyone at risk, much like Lewis was saying before, safety is number one. So I trust what they're doing. Obviously we're going to see how it works. And, for us, if we can't get into Disney or the other parks, then we'll have a holiday in Orlando. For us, we're fortunate it's not our first time. Maybe if it was our first time, we'd think of moving it just to make sure we have the full experience. But for me today, I'm a very happy person that it looks like it's opening again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Jamie, what's your thoughts, bud? Anything to add?
Yeah, I think for the quarantine perspective, it is an interesting one because we're in a lucky/unlucky position. We're certainly lucky. We were due to go to Milan for the Formula One, and that's less than 10 days before we were going to Orlando. So if we actually went to Milan, we'd have to come back in quarantine for 14 days, and then we wonder whether we'd actually be allowed to go to America. So that's going to have to give. The Formula One looks like it's not going ahead, so we can't. But then obviously when we get back from September, we then have to quarantine. Now, we're very lucky. We can both work from home. But there's a lot of people that can't. So that's what you say, the whole working from home straight 14 days, that's a really, really interesting question. And a lot of people will have to factor that into their decisions.
Yeah, no, I massively agree there. So, right, moving on swiftly. So obviously we've got this news of Disney reopening, which most of us are excited for. Like us here in the UK, like sadly, we have to wait until those travel restrictions go. We don't really know when that's going to happen. I mean, Lewis, do we have any inside info on the travel when that lift could be removed?
So we take out our steer from other tour operators. So, for example, we know that Jet2 and TUI have cancelled all their flights and holidays up until the end of June. We've seen today that Virgin are not expecting to fly now until August. So we take our steer from them, from those guys. But again, they are just playing it by ear, and they are just kind of going with the announcements as they come. So I did read a comment that somebody has had a conversation with the Foreign Office, and as of yet, there doesn't seem to be any plans to lift the ban at this point in time.
Right. Okay. That's
Sorry to be so negative. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But
No. And that's the thing. Like this is the beauty about having say Lewis on this evening, is because if Lewis doesn't know the answer, he will say. But equally,
no one knows the answers.
Yeah, Jen's here.
No one knows what's going on.
You're on fire tonight, Dave. You should see her in the park. She's a different woman. Absolutely. So I've lost all chain of thought. It is totally gone. Now, something that we do want to get into, in fact, is with these announcements coming in that Disney is reopening, and there hopefully are going to be some of you guys making it out there, whether it's August, September, next year, so on and so forth. But most of us book with Virgin Holidays, and we all know what's happened over at Gatwick Airport. So now, if you were to be going from Gatwick Airport, perhaps you're going to be flying from Heathrow, which is why it's great that we have Jamie and Lisa here, as well as Danny and Lewis, to help us out with some recommendations for Heathrow Airport. So, guys, straight off the bat, where do we think that Virgin are most likely to be flying out from at Heathrow Airport? Terminals 1, 2, 3, or 5? Anyone have any ideas?
Go on, Jamie.
Right. I think that the first thing to say is that Heathrow is huge. Like there are 4 terminals. Confusingly, it's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Terminal 1 is closed, and that's now a much bigger terminal to 2. Virgin have a base in Terminal 3, but currently, during this situation, they're actually operating all flights from T2 and T5, just to make things confusing. Once we return to some sort of normality, they will move back to T3, which is their base, which is where they've got their clubhouse. So that's where they will be. The good news is T2 and T3 are both in the same area within Heathrow. T4 is right off the south-eastern side of the terminal, and T5 are right over on the west side of the terminal. Now, the reality is, if you was to do a full circle around the airport, it would probably take you a good half hour to 45 minutes to drive around it with all the speed cameras, knowing you can only do 30 miles an hour. So that's the first thing. It is massive. So T3 and or T2, but T3 is its main base for Virgin Atlantic over there.
Right, yeah. At least anything to add on that one?
No, I mean, for me, I've travelled out of T3 with Virgin before. I actually spend every week pretty much at Heathrow when there's no COVID-19, and I fly every week pretty much for work. So if you need advice on where to buy good shoes and to get a good drink, then I can definitely give you that. But like I say, my main experience is T5, but I think definitely Clubhouse event is brilliant.
Yeah, I think from a hotel perspective, you've got to look at T3 and T2 as the base. Now, they're actually underneath quite a long underpass, and there's 2 hotels that are on site there, which is the Hilton Garden Inn, and there's also the Air Hotel that's on site. Now, both of those are pretty much right on the terminals themselves. But you have to be very careful because there's lots of Hilton Garden hotels, there's lots of Sheratons, there's lots of Premier Inns, and they will all say they're Heathrow. So you've got to be very careful when you pick your hotel. You just need to make sure you double check where it is on the map or which terminal am I going from. So, like I say, the Heathrow Garden, the Hilton Garden Hotel at T2 is the one that's on the airport. That would probably be my recommendation if you're a bit of a plane spotter. Other than that, the Renaissance, which is just outside.
Do you know
yeah, go on.
No, go on. You're on fire tonight, Bink.
No, at the weekend we had a little drive around because we're literally down the road from the Heathrow, and it was a ghost town. It was so eerie, and I didn't like it.
I loved
But
it.
we did see the Hilton Garden Inn, and it was literally right where, like, in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could stay there.
So just to like recap, and I'm
Definitely.
probably like we're not sponsored by Virgin Holidays or Virgin Atlantic Holidays.
No.
We've only ever flown
We'll
with
welcome
them.
it though.
Jen's already wearing red. I sound like Jonathan Ross. I can't get my freaking words out. I do apologise. But yes, we're quite biased in that sense. But I guess the field that I want to try and help answer, and for people in the chat right now, is that if you are a Virgin Holidays customer, it's going to be, or we feel it's going to be terminals 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and possibly the Hilton, which is an on-site hotel, slap bang
Bang in the
middle.
Like walking.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
as Jamie, Elisa said, and I can see that Lewis was nodding his head, between that one and the Air Hotel could be the equivalent to like the Block Hotel, what we're so used to over at Gatwick. But there's going to be a lot of people looking to Jamie and Lisa, especially right now, for the hotel recommendation. So if you guys wouldn't mind, apart from on-site, which ones do you recommend? Because it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that, but sorry, at least you can say yours first.
So go on.
We'll be divorced by the end of this. You can guarantee four different rooms.
Well, you should play rock, scissors, paper, and then I'll just whoever wins, go to them.
I'm the. I think for me, this is not talking. There is. I think obviously, budget is probably the biggest thing. So we love Premier Inns. You know, they're good prices. There's lots of them. There's a thing called the A4, which is the Bath Road. That's the one that's just outside from Terminal 2 and 3. Pretty much any hotel in there, you can go from next to nothing all the way up to, you know, the creme de la creme. And that budget is massive and in between there. So everything from Sheratons to Ibis, you know, the Hiltons, you can keep going. I'm just a big fan of Premier Inn. You know, they're you know what you're going to get. They're reasonably well priced. The other side of that one is that you always have to be careful of how you get to the airport once you're on these off-site airports. Now, you get like a little hopper shuttle bus. But that's for a family of 5, so 2 adults, 3 kids. That's going to cost about 20 quid for a return ticket. So you always have to factor that in. Now, someone just said about the T4 hotel. That's great because it's really good value. But if you get the hopper bus, you've got to pay another 20 quid for a family of 3, 4, 5. But then that's going to take you probably about an hour to get to the terminal with all the stops along the way. But for free, you can go on the underground or get on the little train transit from Terminal 4 across to Terminal 2 and 3. So there's a lot of little options there.
It feels like, and you're right. I mean, you know, we only live 10 minutes down the road, but we know nothing really about it. So the first port of call for us, and I know that there's some people in the chat right now, it's, do you stay on site just because you're that much closer? It's easier to get to where you need to be, so you don't have to hop up. But then, like what Jamie said a moment ago, it's about budget. And I can see Gareth in the comments as well is saying price pod parking for their trip, which was £98 for 16 nights. Parking's cheaper than the hotel and parking. In fact, like Lisa or Jamie or Lewis or Danny, where do you recommend parking if you're going to be traveling from Heathrow?
I'll just say just quickly, the thing with pod parking, I am a huge pod parking fan, and one of the common misconceptions is people get excited thinking they can use pod parking, but it's only for T5. So unless you're flying from T5, there's no point in booking pod parking because you're going to have to then get a bus transfer across another terminal. So that's probably like my advice. I'd always try and go from T5 just because I love the pods, but that's probably not the best reason to go from there. So
I really want to try that pod.
I just want to go.
We're going by British Airways, hopefully, if we go. And we could do pod parking, but actually, because we're flying into Miami, we're going from Terminal 3, so we can't do pod parking. So it's one of these ones. When it comes to parking, there's obviously different layers. Again, there's the official parking, which includes short stay. There's something called business parking for tourists and holiday makers like us. I wouldn't recommend business parking because they have like a little minibus and you won't get your suitcase on there. But then you have your long stay, and then more affordable, you have the purple parking, which is the off-site long stay. But you also got an NCP, Now, the NCP flight path is actually pretty much on the doorstep of the entrance into Terminal 2 and Terminal 3. I find if you book one enough in advance, you can get a really good price there. So, there's lots of different things you can do. Also, when you do your package in your hotel, sometimes you can park on site at the hotel and include that in the stay. So sometimes it's not that much more to stay the night before and start your holiday that evening earlier.
Absolutely. I've been nudged. Jenny's ready to say something.
I don't like to be negative, but I work across from T5 and Maple Parking, Heathrow. No, please, 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 please. They have a yard right opposite my work, and we have had so many complaints. We've had so many accidents. We've had people asking for CCTV. We've had people asking that they've had speeding tickets with their cars. But Maple Parking,
Don't do it.
please don't book with Maple Parking at Heathrow.
And if Maple Parking you are
Sorry.
watching, tough.
Yeah, I work across from your yard.
Yeah, we've seen it for ourselves.
So sorry. I don't like to be negative, but I don't want people to get speeding tickets or crashing their cars or their cars really treated quite badly.
When you come back from Florida, you are really depressed. You
You don't want to come back to a speeding ticket.
You do not want a speeding ticket. You don't want to find your car's been scratched,
No.
damaged, mud.
They are awful. They use our car park. And one time I got into work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they had literally dumped people's cars across our yard. So we couldn't even get into our own yard because they just dumped your car just on a road.
It's outrageous, Maple Parking.
So Maple Parking, I'm sorry.
We're not fans of Maple Parking,
Sorry.
that is for
They
sure.
sound like
Yeah, I feel like we need a boost of positivity.
Sorry.
So for that very reason, I'm going to cut across to Danny. Danny,
I think he's frozen.
Is he frozen?
Oh, no.
What is with him? Danny, just to recap on what we first started speaking about, the news that Disney are opening. Are you with us?
Yeah. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
There's
yeah,
a
you're
massive lag. Danny, of all the days
I
we
don't know
really
what's going on,
you.
guys.
there.
Oh, dude. He's going to fix something.
What's it, Netflix? Was it Get Missy, was it, you watched the other day?
Oh,
my
that
gosh.
is
That's what they're doing.
hilarious.
Lewis, just a quick one then, bud. As the resident travel advisor, should people stay on site? Should people stay off site? And what are your recommendations for, in particularly for Heathrow?
Okay, so I'm actually just going to echo what Jamie said. I've actually put customers into the Hilton Garden Inn at T2. I've had some really good reviews from that hotel. I've actually had some really good correspondence with the duty managers there, because I would always contact the hotels before any of my customers would stay there. So hopefully for a little free upgrade or something like that. So so I've had a lot of good communication from them and a lot of good reports from them. So I would definitely recommend, if you've got the budget to do it, stay on site at T2, and there's an underpass to T3, so it's all undercover, and you can. That's a great hotel. The other one is actually where we stayed before, is Premier Inn Bath Road. We like that. It's a great budget option, very comfortable, and so I wouldn't say anything different to what Jamie said earlier.
I know he knows his stuff, right?
Bath Road.
There's two Premier Inns on the Bath Road as well. So there's one on either side, one closer to T5 and one closer to
One right next to
Hounslow, really.
McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. There's so if you one right next to the McDonald's, and then there's another one that's not that far away from KFC. So depending what you want for dinner, pick your hotel based on that. You've also got Starbucks in the morning if you don't want the cost.
I love it. I know we weren't really going to be discussing this, but sorry, we're getting into it now. The meat and potatoes, no pun intended. Obviously, when we was at Gatwick, we were big fans of Nicholas Culpepper. Huge fans of Nicholas Culpepper. Our options for dining, I don't want to go to Wetherspoons. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but where do you guys who have been there recommend? Like, what's going to be the new Nicholas Culpeper? What's going to be the new Giraffe? But at Heathrow,
Yeah.
who wants to take that one? Because I don't know.
I think you might be a little disappointed. So I do think, personally, I don't think there's as much choices like you see at Gatwick. There's a lot post-security, but pre-security, where Virgin will most likely be in the future at T3. Kind of pre-security, there is a pub called the Three Bells, which is okay, like kind of like pub grub. But apart from that, you've only really got Leon, you've got Krispy Kreme. But yeah, at T3, there's not, a lot there. And so at T2, where they currently are, you've only got Costa and a Wetherspoons. So yeah, pre-security.
Before security, that's the problem. Is that it's an airport that we feel like is a business airport. You go there to go on business, or you go there to go visit family that might live in far-flung places. It's not really a holiday airport, which is what Gatwick is. Gatwick, you go there to go on holiday primarily. So they're very up for people that stay in hotels nearby, want to go to the airport, stay and have some food. So your options are very limited. That also ties in with the hotel you have, is when you're actually in the hotels, you've got to think of what am I going to eat? Because hotel food, generally, quite pricey. Like, we all love the Sofitel, which is tagged onto the T5. Great hotel, but the food's going to also mirror that price, so you have to be a bit careful. However, you can always do what Lisa does, and that's just get, either a generic Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and get them into the hotel. She usually sneaks those in.
Do if you guys are staying at Heathrow, we are so close. So you can have a Get Binky Eats, as long as I can have most of the food.
We can pick you up and take you out.
Yeah, that is no problem. Maggie is asking a very, very good question, which is there twilight check-in at Heathrow? Definitely something I'm intrigued to know about. Does anyone know if there is a twilight check-in at Heathrow, or do you think it will be coming now that Virgin are essentially moving? Well, they're already there, but having a larger presence over at Heathrow.
I think it would be unlikely, if I'm honest, just based on the fact that you can't get to the terminal quite so easy. So I would suggest that no, unless it's offered by some hotel, I would say it's very unlikely to do twilight check-in. I don't know whether Lewis has got anything else to add to that.
I don't. I really don't know, if I'm completely honest. So, but I would suggest you probably wrong.
Which scares me, because
it does. I love getting rid of my luggage in the night before.
I feel like that's the moment, like in our holiday, I feel like if an upgrade was ever going to happen, that's the moment where it could happen. And the thing is, we're so used to going from Gatwick, and Jamie mentioned it a moment ago, Gatwick for us was the holiday airport, and it sounds like Heathrow is the business airport. So we're all trying to find, where should we stay? Where should we park? What restaurants are good? Because you wait so long, especially now we're getting to the tail end of COVID, that you want everything to be as best.
Well, pre-travel day is like the start of the holiday. Yes. Pre-travel day is the most exciting day, and that's when you do twilight check-in. You check into the hotel night before.
It's exciting.
You have food, you have drinks, and get excited.
Yeah, which doesn't leave me much hope that this is going to happen. So, will Virgin open a V Lounge at Heathrow? And by the sounds of Twilight, I don't know if I want it to. I can see some shakings of the head. So, why don't we think that V Lounge will come to Heathrow? Maybe that's a better question. Any ideas on that?
I can comment. I think it will long term, but to start with, there's just not set up that way. The V room, kind of the lounge, kind of that they have there at their base at T3 is absolutely humongous. So in the future, they could, look at making some amendments to that and building in a V room. But I don't think that's coming anytime in the next year or so. So I think if anyone's booked the V room, I would imagine they'll probably get a refund for that, because the lounge is only for the upper passengers and gold card holders for Virgin, I believe.
Yeah.
That means we get a refund.
I could be wrong, that Lewis might be able to correct me.
It wouldn't be awesome if they just turned around and went, everybody that's got V-Room can use the upper class lounge. That would be
That'd be
awesome. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would
There'll be a
awesome.
lot of annoyed people. A lot of annoyed people with that one. Yeah. I can't believe they've let him in. Get out.
Lewis, maybe you'll be able to help us answer this one. Do we think that this is literally just a temporary thing? Do we think that things will return to some normality over at Gatwick, or do we think that this will only be for a year over at Heathrow? And it's because my understanding is that Gatwick is not only the home of Virgin, but they have their headquarters there, they have their training there. There is so much over at Gatwick. I don't truly know the full reasons why they've gone from Gatwick to Heathrow, but I'm hoping it's temporary, and I'm hoping that it's not going to last too long. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Lewis?
Yeah. So I think the initial announcement that Virgin made, they did kind of say that they were going to keep their slots at Gatwick. They're probably going to rent them out to other airlines if they need to, but they want to keep them for future use. This very much is a sign of the times. It's moving with the times because they're expecting maybe not to be flying out so often during the kind of as we kind of come out of the COVID situation. Sorry, I said the word. And so I think this will probably be a short-term measure, a year, maybe two, and then we'll start seeing Virgin moving back across to Gatwick and taking back their slots, which we all love. And I know that I personally prefer flying out from Gatwick. So let's hope that they'll move across quite over the next year or so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We are asking a question to everyone that's in the chat right now, which is, hey, you in the chat, how do you feel about wearing a face mask around Disney? Oh, I mean, wearing a mask at Disney, what's your thoughts?
I tried it to go to Tesco's, and I can't do it. I can't.
It's hard, right?
It is. I feel like I cannot breathe.
How are you going to feel when we go to Disney, and if that's still
I
in
hope
place?
when I go back to Disney, I won't have to wear a mask.
Yeah, I hope it's over, but yeah. Hopefully we get a couple of comments. How do you feel about wearing a face mask at Disney? Danny, obviously you're a family man, right? Does this change anything at all for you guys when you get back to Disney if the restrictions are still in place?
I don't think we'll base the holiday on if we need to wear a face mask or not. I'll have to get around it, bribe with Mickey waffles or Mickey ice cream bars or something for the kids, I'm sure. But I mean, Charlie will probably he'll suffer with it, and he'll probably be annoyed. There's no way I would get anything on Oscar because the next time we're scheduled to go, Oscar will be just turning 3, so I can't imagine he would have a face mask on at all. I would wear one. I've got to wear one for work when I'm there, so I'm kind of used to it now. But in that heat, I don't know if I'd be able to take it all day.
Yeah, it's definitely some mixed views in the comments. So I can see that Disney grown-ups, it would be so hot and uncomfortable. I wear one to walk 2 minutes to my dad's house, and in this heat, it's awful. So I can't imagine a whole day in the Florida heat.
Yeah.
I guess like what I'm hoping for, and maybe I'm being a little bit too positive here, I'm just hoping that over the next couple of months, it's going to go. And when I say it,
I think there'll be restrictions that will ease. Like there's 2 meters, but there's some thing about it going to 1 meter for certain things, and I think restrictions are in place now, but they are going to ease.
Yeah, they are.
And I hope that one of them, like I would wear gloves over a mask. I will wear, a mask restricting me. I don't think I could do personally.
So are we saying that we're going to wait until those restrictions are lifted?
Personally, especially a mask, they can take my temperature. They want me to wear gloves, wash my hands,
Do a little dance.
do a dance. Yep.
Just that way.
A mask in Florida. I sweat anyway, let alone wearing a mask.
I'd wear a Borat outfit to walk around Florida right now.
Would you?
I would. I wouldn't care who saw it.
Oh
either.
my god! Come on, people.
A little mankini.
It's nice.
I'd wear a matching green face mask. That's it. Just to walk around.
How would you do what makes you happy up the straps?
Yeah, that's it. One strap.
That'd be perfect.
It's kind of green. It's kind of green. Guys, we are going to start to head to wrap this up. But before we do, I didn't get to finish off with Mr. Parring earlier about the excitement news that Walt Disney World is opening back up. And Danny, honestly, mate, what are your thoughts on this news? I mean, it's a big deal, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's fantastic that this place that we all love, it's the one thing we've all got in common. It's opening back up, and we're going to be able to, we're going to be able to see it open again, see all the rides, possibly shows. We know that there's going to be restrictions on parades and fireworks as of right now, due to the social distancing. But to have it open, it's one of those things that your heart just melts, doesn't it? It's the place you love, and knowing that it's been closed, and the only people that have been in there is park management and security, just walking around the place. It just breaks my heart to know that nobody's been seeing it for the last 3-4 months, however long it's been now. I've lost count. I don't even know what day it is. Is it Friday?
Friday. And you're right. You know what? When you're in Florida, when you're on holiday, you forget what day it is because everything turns into it's Magic Kingdom Day, it's Animal Kingdom Day, it's this. Oh, we got dinner here, we got breakfast there, and that's what I really miss, that huge escapism factor. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We can't wait to get back into it. Before we really wrap this up and promote a couple of things that we've got going on, is there anything from anyone else right here that they wish to add or mention about either Heathrow Airport, parking, hotels, restaurants, the news at Disney? Anything from anyone else?
Well, DVC have announced that they're going to be opening up their resorts on, if I read it correctly, it was either June or July 11th. I think it was more
June the 22nd.
June the 22nd. I knew it was June, and double figure numbers. So they're opening those up for reservations, and I believe it's going to be basically as Orange County go along with the reopening phases, then they'll put in their plans and submit their plans to reopen resort by resort, as far as I can tell.
Excellent stuff, mate. Just a little reminder, Saturday the 11th of July, Magic Kingdom, that's right, you heard, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom will be opening. And then on the 15th of July, Hollywood Studios and Epcot will also be returning, as long with lots and lots of guests. There's going to be plenty of coverage over all of those parks, which we're very much looking forward to see. Thank you to the Diz for the information that we read out earlier on. Thank you to Lewis. Lewis, what a privilege it has been to have you here. We're definitely looking forward to having you back. That is for sure. In the description of this video, you can see Lewis's details. So please be sure to check him out and hit him up for your travel needs, ladies and gents.
Be happy to help.
Yeah, mate, you're more than welcome. That is for sure. And of course, Lisa and Jamie are resident experts at Heathrow Airport. Yeah, thank you so much.
I think that the one thing I've noticed has been looking at the live comments, and you sit there and look at them and go, there are so many questions. There's so many awesome bits in there with people making comments like this, Scott, Edwina, tons of questions sitting through the whole lot. Will and Lily, Gareth, all these questions. If you jump on the Get Binky Facebook group, I would certainly sit and say we can answer as many of these questions as we can. You can always just go and bug Lisa if you really want to as well, because for us, I'd say there's tons of questions. So thank you. For me, it's been an eye opener to just see just how enthusiastic everybody is, just like we are. We're only just normal people trying to do, all of this awesomeness.
Exactly, and it's about time that we had some positive news, and the fact that these parks are opening. It's not just Disney, Universal, SeaWorld,
Discovery Cove,
Gatorland,
Aquatica.
yeah, all of it.
Fun Spot.
There are people that have been literally trapped inside their homes for the last couple of months, and hearing this type of news gives people more than just hope. It's not just it's not just about the parks, it's the whole thing, that escapism. The things are slowly but surely returning back to some form of normality.
Yeah.
Normality. Yeah, and thank you to Jamie as well for those kind comments. Actually, that's really appreciated, bud. Thank you. So what is coming up on Get Binky tomorrow? We have something absolutely huge, and it's only fair, it's only right that we hand over to Danny for this announcement.
Right, so tomorrow night on the Get Binky Do What Makes You Happy Facebook group, we are going live with our premiere show of Who Wants to Be a Disney-aire. So I'll be hosting the show. I already have a contestant that's going to take part tomorrow. It's going to be the wonderful Andy Robson, who's going to be put through his paces to try and answer 15 questions on Disney parks. There are the same as the TV show, 3 points in the game where you're guaranteed prizes. We've already worked those out, and they will be announced tomorrow during the show. But yeah, 8:30 tomorrow night in the Facebook group, Who Wants to Be a Disney-aire, our very first show. I can't wait. I am absolutely buzzing.
Oh, mate, we can't wait either. It's going to be fun. It's just like, it's a great idea that you're doing, that you're hosting it. I'm very excited to be, to watch, because the folks
gives you a break, doesn't it?
In the chat will also take part. Yeah, I know. That's what I need, right? I'm going to be like this.
That's it. You can sit back. You can take part. So it's the same as the TV show. 3 lifelines. So you get your 50-50. Instead of phone a friend, you're going to have ask the household. So you can ask a member in your house to give you a hand with the question. And the final one, which would be ask the audience, is going to be ask the chat. So then the chat can get involved. How do I take part? So there is a post in the Facebook group. It is currently in the announcements at the top of the page. So if you have a look in there, that's where you just need to comment underneath with your name, and I'll add you to a list that will, and hopefully we'll get through as many people as we can. I'm looking to do either one show a week or one show every 2 weeks to start with, just to get a flow of it going.
Absolutely. So yeah, Danny Parring, Who Wants to Be a Disney-aire tomorrow? Yeah, bud. I like it a lot. I haven't got my little buttons to press to cut into it. And a very, very quick plug for something that we are doing in, I think, just over 2 weeks' time.
Next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend. Sorry, the big charity quiz. So, guys, ladies and gents, boys and girls, get your money and sign up to the charity quiz. The winner gets to choose which charity all of the money goes to, and we are close to hitting £400 on that one. So thank you ever so much to everyone who has been doing that. So thank you very much. More details coming soon.
What time is it, Danny, tomorrow for Disney-aire?
8:30.
Okay.
8:30 in the evening, so everyone can do their clap for the NHS, and then we're going to set up after that.
Is tomorrow the last one? The last clap? Is that what
I believe so? Yeah, I believe so. It's what I've read.
So we're going to make it a good one, and then we're all going to come and watch Danny Parring hosting Who Wants to Be a Disney-aire. I'm looking forward.
I might wear a suit. I don't know yet.
You should.
Oh yeah.
You should. Yeah. There you go.
Hopefully, my Wi-Fi works tomorrow night.
It will. It'll be fine. Right, let's quickly wrap this up. We've been on, it's only meant to be half an hour.
It's nearly an hour.
What the heck? Honestly, thank you ever so much. And first time to Lewis. Thank you ever so much, mate. Really appreciated this.
No worries.
If you guys enjoyed having a travel advisor here to help answer your questions, then Lewis and I and some of the others from the team will be back again at some point real soon. We can go more in depth and ask even more questions. It's nice to have someone live answering the questions, because we know it has been difficult to get through to certain other travel agencies to find out the information. So it's nice that Lewis is here on hand. Obviously, a huge thank you to Lisa. Woo. Thank you ever so much, lovely, for everything you do.
Anything, Shine?
Yeah. And then above you even is Jamie.
Above you.
Happy to help anybody that needs any help. So thank you for everybody for listening to us rabble on for an hour.
No, we love it. We love it. We love it. And then you're going to see this guy tomorrow for the quiz, the big one. Disney and Air. We're looking forward to it, bud. We are excited for this one.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. See you tomorrow night.
Welcome. So with all of this being said, wherever you're watching in the world, whether you're watching us live or playback, we get Binky. We could not do this without you guys. These guys here right now. Disney is opening up, ladies and gents. We are slowly returning back to the magic. Thank you ever so much. Love and respect from Get Binky.